And we're live. Hello everyone, I'm Captain Oblivious. Welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm joined by my good friends Tony,
Yeah, hello.
Yash,
Hi.
and Volkan.
Nice to be here.
All right, we're back after the games. This is gonna be the post games podcast. We predicted some results the last time. We gave you our thoughts about the games, and let's get started with City versus Tottenham. The score was 2-2 for City, and Tottenham had some controversies according to the City players and the City manager Pep Guardiola. So the game went pretty dominant by City, but Tottenham seemed to be like, whenever you score, I score back. Like they had not that many shots. I think they had around 3 shots, 2 on target. Both went in, beautiful goals. Lucas Moura came in, scored. Lamela at the first half, just beautiful goal right after City scored. First City's goal was Sterling, and the second one was Aguero. However, VAR was on full force. I didn't see the first one they disallowed. I saw the second one. Gabriel Jesus was celebrating like he won the Champions League final. Then the ref is like, no, there's something wrong. They're checking with the VAR. And they actually disallowed it for an arm. They used the arm to give the assist to the player. And so it resulted to a disallowed goal. So, Yash, what do you think about this one? They used VAR. They say it's controversial. Gabriel Jesus used the word shit to describe VAR. What do you think about VAR that used in the game? Is it good? Is it bad? Does it shake people off? Like, I'm happy I scored, but now it's disallowed, and I feel the complete opposite. What do you think?
Well, I think it's the best thing that they did for football. Like, it was a clear handball, and it would have been unfair to Tottenham losing like that, especially after the game. The player would have checked and saw that would have actually been very unfair for them. But I think it's a very good thing in the Tottenham.
All right. Do you remember who was the first one that got disallowed from VAR? Any of you remember what was it? Tony, Volkan, do you remember?
I haven't seen the match, but I read in many articles that VAR changed the whole game. So unfortunately, I can't help.
Volkan, what do you think? What do you think about VAR in general right now? Or what's your opinion about it?
Well, in general, I think they're doing very well so far, but I think they have to be fast at using it. I think the referee should react much faster. I know that the signal is coming from another referee in the video assistant room, but I still feel like it's taking a lot of tempo out of the game, especially if a team is losing 2-0 and they have just reduced the score to 2-1. And then the referee has to check it, like the whole flow is just going off. But on this one, I think it was actually a very good call because it was at the end of the game, so it's good they spent some time on it to make sure what's the right call because they did actually change the result. So yes, right now I would give it it's a good idea, but they should be more effective.
Tony, what's your ideas on VAR? Do you agree with the rest? Is it a good addition? Is it a bad addition?
Well, I gotta say it's a good and fair addition, but the thing is, it changes football. The football as we know it. It wasn't like that in the past. I mean, no VAR, no. Now it's just it makes it more fair because like City's goal that was a handball was disallowed, and it was fair for Tottenham. And you just have to think what would happen if there was no VAR. City might have won the game, and this will impact in the whole of Premier League in general. I mean, it will impact who wins, who comes second, third, and fourth. Now the players must be more careful because everything can change with VAR.
Myself, I believe it's a very good addition. Players should be you can't dive like that anymore. Can't go be offside and try to tell the ref no, I was not, and and B, I believe so, it's not offside, and you expect the ref to change his decision according to what you're saying. VAR is there. There's no mistakes anymore. Of course, there will always be mistakes, but they're just so limited now. About the game now, the score. Yash, what do you think about the score? City was all over the place. They expected to win big time, I think, in this game. And Tottenham came right back at them. It's incredible. Did you predict the score like that? What was your prediction before in the pre-game?
Well, for me, it was a big surprise. To be honest, in the podcast last time, I predicted like an easy win for City, a very dominating win. But when I saw the score like that, was actually a very big surprise for me. But when you look at the game, City dominated completely. For me, it was kind of harsh for them not getting that win because they were all over the place. And when you saw Lucas' goal, it was actually a very bad mistake from Aguero not defending on him. So yeah, it's a big surprise for me.
All right, myself, I was actually going for the big surprise for Tottenham to win. But of course, didn't go the way I thought it will, and it ended a draw. Tony, what was you were not here? I believe you were not present in the last podcast where we made our predictions. But what did you predict? What did you predict in general about this game, and did it come true?
Well, same as everyone, I expected City to dominate. I mean, they were playing at home. They won the league. I expected like a 3-0. But on the other hand, Tottenham managed to get to the Champions League final. I expected some resistance, but I did not expect it 2-2, to be honest, yeah. I mean, it caught me by surprise. But I haven't seen the game, but having seen the stats, yeah, it seems like City dominated them, destroyed them. And for me, it just seems lucky that they managed to score 2 goals and equalize.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy game. Like Tottenham managed to slip a point out of there. Volkan, what was your prediction? Did it come true? How do you feel? What happened?
Well, my prediction was I actually did not predict on any team, but my prediction was kind of wrong because I said I believe the first team to score will be the team that wins the game. And the game actually ended draw, so City was very close to winning. But I actually think it will. Like I did expect the game to be like this very one-sided performance by City. It pretty much looks like a game of FIFA. City has over 30 shots in this game, and Tottenham only has 3, and they both have equal goals. You can also see on every parameter: possession, shots, corners. They're in favor of Manchester City. So I did expect the game to be this one-sided, but I did not expect this result at all.
Yeah, crazy game. I think we should move on to the other games. This was the biggest game of the weekend, in my opinion. Moving on, we had Arsenal versus Burnley. I predicted this one to be a 3-1 or 3-0 victory for Arsenal. It went my way. Lacazette scored, I think, then Aubameyang scored, or vice versa. And Burnley
Lacazette first, and then Aubameyang, yeah.
Yes, and Burnley scored as well. Still Arsenal with the 3 points. It's very important for Arsenal to win those small games if they want to break into the top 4 and claim the 3rd or the 4th position. But I'm not so sure who scored from Burnley. Tony, can you give us this insight?
Ashley Barnes.
All right. Was your prediction in? Did you make a prediction for the game yourself?
Yeah, because I predicted like something similar. Yeah, I may expect Arsenal to do well, having done the signings of Nicolas Pepe and Dani Ceballos. Arsenal in general is a tactical team. It can do well, but sometimes it can mess up. And Unai Emery is an intelligent manager. The result was to be expected, yeah, to be honest. I'm kind of looking forward to Saturday's match with Liverpool. I want to see what will happen then when they face a big team, because Burnley is a small, although it's good, it's a small team, and you can really see Arsenal's performance for this year against a small team.
Yeah, by tradition, Burnley is not famous for winning any trophies, so yeah, it's not exactly the big challenge. But I saw their players celebrating, singing in the back, in the locker rooms, and they look pretty happy about their win. David Luiz seemed to be adjusted so far. He didn't look shaky. He looked in an average level good. Yes, what was your prediction? And did it come true? Did you fall off
Yeah,
the prediction?
it actually came to what I expected. I said like Burnley will go then park the bus and it will be either a draw or a win for us. And if you look at it, they actually they was about to score and win the game, but Arsenal took the chance and scored. I don't see it like a dominating performance from Arsenal. I think it was a pretty fair game from both sides, but Arsenal, the players, they have the quality, they have just won them the game.
And Volkan, 2-1 for Arsenal versus Burnley. Did you predict the game? What was it?
Well, my prediction was actually 2-1 for Burnley, so the opposite happened. I actually thought Burnley was going to score an early goal and then park the bus the whole game, and then score another one due to Arsenal having leaving more space in their own half. So the opposite happened. I actually knew that Barnes was going to score, seeing him playing against Southampton. He had two there in that game, scored 2 goals. He's on 3 goals this season in 2 games. I can clearly see the guy is on fire. So him or Wood. I was actually expecting one of those guys to score in this game, and that happened. But prediction-wise, I predicted wrong. I had Burnley to win 2-1.
Yeah, it's crazy. Arsenal's attack is just relentless. Nicolas Pepe, I expect that guy to score 1 goal. Never happened. Moving on to Southampton versus Liverpool, that game. Danny Ings, first of all, I would like to start with the scorer of Southampton there. But if you don't know, if it's not in your knowledge, the guy was a Liverpool player. Not the biggest talent or the biggest name, but he's a very good player for an average team like Southampton. I think he fits in perfectly. Adrian makes a big mistake. Ings was in the right place as an attacker. He plays himself good. He was where he had to be in the game. Adrian passes the ball, supposedly to a defender, Van Dijk or the other centre back. It just didn't happen. He just thinks he's there. And that's just a flashback to my friend Karius. Yeah, and so Dannings missed a very good chance. He had the chance to make it 2-2. He just missed. Liverpool, on the other hand, scores Mane, beautiful goal. And then Firmino, another beautiful goal, is just undeniable. I don't think many keepers could actually save any of those 2 shots. Robertson misses a big chance as well, and Firmino misses a big chance before he scored, I believe, his goal. And yeah, I predicted this game to be, I think 2-0 for Liverpool. I'm not 100% sure, but somewhere along those lines. What was your prediction on this one, Volkan?
Well, my prediction was a Liverpool away win. I don't recall the result precisely, but I think I was around 2-1, 3-1. About the game, I remember when we did the podcast after Liverpool versus Chelsea, we were talking about how Firmino changed the game and how it had the effect on Mane and Salah. In this game, we have Mane as the first goal scorer against Southampton, and then Mane is doing an assist to Firmino. So it's again those guys in the last 2 games. Those guys have been the only one scoring, which just shows what kind of form Firmino is in right now and the chemistry between those 2, and also Salah. So yeah, that's pretty much what I was going to talk about.
In my belief, the player Mane, huge talent. The guy's unreal this year. I think he might actually be the top scorer by a large margin. But with Aubameyang, Aubameyang will be a big opponent for Mane, fighting for the top scorers. I think those two will be unreal this season. Tony, what was your prediction about Southampton Liverpool? How did you see the game going before it actually happened?
Yeah, I knew Liverpool would win because everyone knows Southampton is Liverpool's academy. I mean, they got so many players from the Mane, Van Dijk, Lallana or Henderson, if I'm not mistaken, or even both. But yeah, I didn't expect Southampton to be a difficult opponent for Liverpool. I mean, I was sure it was going to be an easy game for them. They scored 2 goals. They conceded one, but yeah, I mean, they got the 3 points. So yeah, it went exactly as I expected.
Right, Yash, your last but not least on this prediction. What was your prediction?
Well, for me, my prediction was like a dominating win for Liverpool. But the attack of Liverpool is incredible. They are going to destroy any defense, even the best team in the world. They can just open the defense. But what worries me is that the defense actually of Liverpool, they considered in all their games they actually played. And even now, you can say Adrian made a big mistake, but Dannings actually nearly made it 2-2, which would have completely changed that game. Even if Liverpool is showing like a dominating performance, but that defense is, I keep repeating myself, will cost them many games in the future.
I 100% agree on the part with the defense. I feel like they were so confident from last season, believing that they are almost invisible, and that nothing can touch them. And that confidence actually fires back. Like you can't be too overconfident or too low confidence. You have to be in the middle. You have to balance it. You can't say, it's Southampton, they won't score, or it's Chelsea, they're in a bad moment in their history, and just you can't do that. You have to be 100%. Anyway, moving on, Leicester-Chelsea. This one just went right as I predicted it, 1-1. Leicester is the absolute black sheep. They are the ones that will fight for the top 7. They will try breaking the top 7 no matter what happens. They will try breaking that. And the game went. Who scored for Leicester? Ndidi?
Yes.
Yeah.
And for Chelsea, Mason Mount, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that guy's crazy. What a talent that guy will be. This crazy prospect. If that guy stays in Chelsea and build up, it will be a crazy team. They have so many talents. They play such a good football. Fans reacted like absolute silly dorks. I don't know what's wrong. Tony, you mentioned something about Lampard. They started talking shit about him. And,
Some of the fans started the Lampard out thing, and they had some posters and banners at the match as well, I think. I mean, yeah, you gotta understand. He just came to Chelsea. He wasn't allowed to make any transfers because of the transfer ban. You gotta give him time. I mean, Mason Mount, he trusted that kid completely, and look at him. I mean, he's doing great so far. Just give him time, and he'll eventually get good. I mean, the situation will get better, yeah. And it's Leicester. I mean, you don't expect to win that easily against Leicester. Leicester won the league 3 years ago. I don't know why I think it's an exaggeration, an overreaction. They expected to do better, but they just need to give him time. He needs more time. I mean, I'm definitely sure that Frank Lampard would do good at Chelsea, given the required time, and if he manages to bring the player he wants to fill the gaps.
Yeah, absolutely. Leicester will never be a walk in the park again. That's never an option. They will cost many teams points, many of the top teams, talking Liverpool, Arsenal, United, You name them, City, Tottenham, they will cost points to everyone. Maybe one's exception, but they will cost points. Yes, did you see them? Chelsea fans talking about Lampard like that. The guy's a legend of the club. Like, it's undeniable what he gifted to the club through his football career. He's the biggest ever player for Chelsea. Like, it's our biggest legend. There's no one bigger than him ever played for Chelsea. Do you find the fans' reaction justified?
Well, I think for every club you have like some burn brain, some shitty fans who I don't really call them true fans. I call them plastic fans. You can't. A guy just came. He didn't make any signing, and you just come with your banner Lampard. I was like, it makes zero sense, their reaction. But if you see, it was the same fans who actually did racial abuse to Abraham. It's the same for United, the same fan who did racial abuse to Pogba. Like, I think it's every club you have such fan, and you can't change that. It's just the way it will.
Yeah, it's definitely that those type of attitudes should not belong to football. It gives a bad name to football. It's like trying to advertise something you support it, but you're not supporting it. It sounds weird, strange, it's bizarre. It's just straight up BS. Volkan, what do you think? Fans treat Lampard like that after all those years. Like, the guy has scored so many goals. Like, I think he actually might be one of the top scorers for Chelsea. Do you think their actions should apply to Chelsea after 3 performances against tough teams as well? It's not like the easiest teams to play against. What do you think?
Well, I believe that Yash is right. These are those so-called plastic fans. And also, Tony mentioned that Lampard was not allowed to make any signings due to Chelsea's transfer ban, which just makes things more hard. Well, as a club, Chelsea can't choose their own fans. Like, I'm sure they will probably delete them if they could, but those are people that have chosen to support them, and it has nothing to do with the club. About Lampard's status, I believe they should give him time, but I also fear that he will be too close to the relegation line. So the president will have to fire him and replace him with someone that has more experience. That's a nightmare scenario I could actually see happening, because he's only gathered 1 point in 2 games so far. So, but I do believe he deserves time. I just fear that Chelsea wants to be on the right course this season, probably going for top 6. But I don't know if Lampard right now is the man to bring them there, given his inexperience as the coach. Yes.
But thinking about Mourinho. Mourinho himself couldn't bring Chelsea to success his second season, because his first season he actually won the league. So it's a bit controversial if you fire Lampard in his first season. I believe that would be a big mislead. Anyway, what about your prediction, Volkan? Was it close on this game?
Draw. I had a draw on it.
Alright, Tony, what was your prediction? Were you close?
Same. I expected a draw as well, because I told you I never underestimate Leicester.
And Yash?
I expected a win for Chelsea, but the draw doesn't surprise me also because it's Leicester. They can't cause any harm to any team.
Of course, that's a guarantee with Leicester, as it seems lately. Alright, let's move on to the next game. Wolverhampton versus United. I'll pass this one to Tony straight away, and then onwards to Yash. How did the game go? Who scored? Did you expect it to go that way? Was one team? Did one team edge the other more? Or what went down?
As a United fan, yeah, I'm always hopeful. I'm always expecting. I always want to win, but given our opponent was Wolves, I expected a draw, to be honest. Even though United has changed since last year, they got new players and new signings, and they were more organized. Wolves is still the same team that was last year. Nobody left. I don't know if anyone joined, but it's the same competitive, aggressive team that was last year, and they were playing at home. I was sure about the draw. When we scored first, I was a bit positive because, in the first half we kind of dominated for a while the game, but then second half they come in and they rush like mad dogs. They kept attacking and attacking and attacking until they got the goal. And for those that didn't watch the match, the goal went through VAR. They thought that it might have been an offside, but it was giving us a goal at the last minute. After that, Man United managed to counter-attack sometimes. But, if Paul Pogba managed to score that penalty that everyone's talking about, and some journalists say that he argued with Marcus Rashford for it, but that's not true. They just want to make something out of it. Marcus Rashford and Paul Pogba are the two designated penalty takers of Man United, and if you see the videos, they agreed normally that Paul Pogba would take the penalty. He was unlucky, unfortunately, but that's fine. Everyone can be unlucky. And in general, the game ended 1-1. I think it's a fair score for the match, given both teams' performance. And pretty much that's it.
Yash, you watched the game, I'm sure.
Yes.
Tell us, did you see the same things Tony saw? Do you want to add something to it?
I saw some fans blaming Pogba, but no one can blame someone for missing a penalty. But the one we can actually blame is Lingard. They gave him a ball, and that guy, a professional footballer, missing the ball. You gave him to show that he just missed the ball like a clown. I don't think that guy deserves to play for United. I think he give a lot, in terms of pressure and work rate, but we need someone creative like Gomez and Mata. You can see United have a lot of trouble in building up. There's no creativity in that team. Rashford and Martial, if you give them now, Soldier trains them to score. If you give them the ball, they're going to score. But they're not the one who's going to make the play. That's what actually cost United. In the first half, they dominated. As soon as they scored, everyone just relaxed. They gave the possession to Wolves. Wolves kept attacking, and it was for sure at one point we are going to concede, and we conceded. But it was too late to wake up now. You can't wake up after you concede. You have to keep the same way you started the game. But I think it was a very fair game, and the score reflects the match.
Yeah, I had this game going for United to win, but as I mentioned in the last podcast, Wolverhampton or Wolves, it's second black sheep after City. They can cost points 21 from the top of the league till the last team of the league. They're just gonna cost points to it. What was your prediction, Yash? Was it close to this result?
Well, I was expecting a 2-1 United, a very tough game, but a win for United. But the draw also, it's not that surprising considering it's Wolves together. We lost our 2 games against them. So that's pretty much my prediction.
And Volkan, was your prediction close to how the game ended? 1-1?
Well, I had it as a draw. I don't remember if I said 2-2, but I did recall saying that the game would end in a draw since Wolves is this very good home side team, and United is still in this building phase. So I think it was a fair result. Unlucky that they did not score that penalty, but as Yas said, the score did reflect the match.
And Tony, did you see the game going like that?
Yes, it went exactly as I expected it. I forgot to comment on other players. Like Yash pointed out, Lingard was tragic last night, and he shouldn't play. Mata would be a better option on Gomez or even Chong. Wan-Bissaka was amazing as always, and in general the defense was quite solid before Wolves started attacking. Martial and Rashford, they get better and better as time goes by. And yeah, that's all I have to add.
That was about the Premier League. Let's move on to La Liga. So in the last podcast, as we were live, as we were recording the video, Athletic Bilbao and Barcelona game was going on at that moment, and it was still on 0-0. Then we find out after we stopped the podcast, Anturi scored for Athletic Bilbao. And when they went back to the locker rooms, I watched the video they make. They just welcomed him like a hero, like he came back like Captain America, and just everybody applauding the guy, everybody's praising him, hugging him, and crazy stuff. What do you think about this one, Volkan? Did you expect Athletic Bilbao to beat Barcelona? Where was Barcelona? Who was missing from Barcelona? What went down?
Well, they did not have the magician Messi on the pitch, which I believe Messi on any team would be able to play on his first start in the first 11. He is one of the best players, top 3 on my list of all time, and he's the guy to make the difference. Unfortunately, he was not there for Barcelona to make it on that night. But as I said in the last video, Barcelona doesn't look so good. I don't believe Griezmann has lived up to his worth, as what they believed in, and also Suarez right now, he's not what he used to be. So they need Messi. He's the man to make the difference. I recall saying that the game would end in a draw. I don't know if I did. It was, my prediction was draw in that game. So it was very tight until the end. I was very surprised by Aduriz, though. His first touch was an overhead kick goal. That was one of the best goals I've seen so far. And despite his age, he just shows that he's still one of the best strikers in La Liga.
Yes. Aduriz defying age. Yash, you were the one that talked about Griezmann as being at the right age to move to Barcelona. You still believe he will live up to the hype of moving to Barcelona? Do you think did he affect the game at all?
Well, I think the problem for Barcelona right now is not the players. Like, even if they get Neymar, it won't change anything. Valverde has to go. Like, when you saw that, that shock 4-0 to Liverpool losing the Champions League final to go to the final, I think Valverde has to go. Even if they put Neymar, Griezmann, Suarez, and all the best players in the team, his tactic is wrong. He's not made for the club. And I think it's not Griezmann's fault. He will live up to the expectation, but I was expecting him to score in that game, and to see that it went 1-0 for Bilbao, it was actually a big surprise. But Aduriz is one of the best strikers, so that guy can come on and change the game, and he actually prove it all those years.
You say it's a big surprise. What was your prediction on this one?
Well, I said Griezmann would score at the end, and Barca will win 1-0, and it went the opposite way.
Yeah, these things happen. It's football. You never know. I actually predicted Bilbao winning 1-0 at the end. Actually came true. I was actually hoping for it. I don't want to pick sides, but I just had to mention it. And Tony, what was your prediction on this one?
Well, I don't. I rarely watch La Liga, and to be honest, I haven't checked Barcelona's status. But last thing I've read that Ousmane Dembele is out, Suarez is out, Messi is out. They don't have an attack anymore. I mean, it's just Griezmann for now. And Athletic Bilbao can be a competitive team. They can cut points and not. I expected a draw, but they managed to win, and with an amazing goal of Aduriz, 38 years old, and he can score goals like that. I mean, it's simply amazing,
All right, next day actually on Saturday, it was Celta Vigo against Real Madrid. I was completely wrong on this one. I predicted a draw, 1-1, 2-2, on those lines. Real Madrid enters the pitch. I expected to go the same way as last year in the preseason, but the flow was so good. I haven't seen Real playing that good since for like forever, I believe. Just the flow was crazy good. The game goes on. Bale gets the ball from the center. Somebody passed. He gives the assist. Benzema with Vinicius is there. Benzema scores it. Then at some point in the game, of course, there was a small controversy in the center. Somebody jumped on Casemiro. Something happened. They said maybe a foul there, a free kick. They didn't call for VAR to stop it or something after the incident. However, later Modric tries to tackle Denis Suarez from the back. He was trying to reach the player by running. He actually got to tackle him on the Achilles tendon, I believe so. The ref called VAR, he saw it. Red card for Modric, justified maybe. If you try to harm the opponent, it's just a straight up red card in my opinion. So on, the game goes on. Kroos is playing a good passing game with Vinicius and Benzema in the attack. And out of nowhere, the man strikes like a sniper. Like that's a crazy goal, hits the goal post. The crossbar just goes in like a rocket. I never saw it coming. He scored it crazy. Then near the end, Vasquez comes in. A beautiful game again. Benzema does the roulette, passes to Vasquez. He shoots, scores. It was 0-3 at the time. A youngster, I can't recall his name, comes in 18 years old, fresh. I was like, why do you put this guy? You put him now that the team loses. He can't do something to prove that he's actually worth it. But he proved me wrong after all. He comes in, scores a goal right at the end, injury time, makes his name go viral a bit. And yeah, Volkan, you were watching the game up to a point. How did you see Real going despite the red card? What do you think?
Well, I remember predicting this game as a Celta Vigo win because Real Madrid did not play very good last season. Also, the preseason was horrible, as you can say. But I would like to talk a little bit about the red card. I do actually believe it was a red card. I was watching the game. You could clearly see that Modric was trying to go for the ankle right there, and that itself, even though if you don't hit him, if it doesn't connect, there's still the intention right there. And as you said, if you're trying to harm someone, it should be a direct red card. Like, I was not in doubt. I was actually happy that VAR got that one, and I was not expecting those actions from a player of Modric's caliber. Yes. That's pretty much what I had to say about the game. A surprising result by Real Madrid, but they do have the players to pull those results off. I can only see them going back to the glory days now, with Zidane back. But as I said in the last video, this is Zidane's true test. He has to prove that he can manage to build up a squad without having some of probably the best player in the world, Ronaldo, in it. And that's what we have to see this season. But right now it's going very good for him. First game, first win, 3 points in the back. Yes.
And Yash, I remember about this one as well. You said it's Real Madrid. You can't count them out. Your prediction, I think, lived up to become reality, full-fledged. What are your thoughts?
Well, you actually right, Steph. My prediction, it actually went how I predicted it. But Real Madrid is just Real Madrid. Like, they're one of the best team, if not the best team that have been for years, constantly winning. And you just, at their worst, they can still beat any team. Like, without Ronaldo, it will be a tough season for them. But I can see them actually going for the Champions League and the La Liga.
Yeah. Tony, did you predict Real Madrid playing that type of football after a year of crazy?
Yeah, to be honest, since Zidane's return and all the signings that they made throughout the summer, I expected to see an improved Real Madrid, and that's what we saw on Saturday. I mean, yeah, the flow of the game was amazing. The players, everyone, very good. If you ignore Modric's mistake, which was unacceptable. But yeah, overall the match great for Real Madrid, and I expect them to do better as time goes by.
Yeah, I can agree on that. Who's crazy, man, for me, man of the match anyway. Can somebody give me the name of the guy that scored for Celta Vigo, the player that scored for Celta Vigo?
Ilka Losada.
Yeah.
That guy, Losada, crazy talent. I think we'll see him a lot this season. Anyway, let's move on. Atletico versus Getafe. They signed Morata permanently. Many people criticize. Our good friend Aaron was actually very concerned about Morata, that he is not going to come back after his Juventus spell. But he's back, he scored, he got his team 3 points. Tony, what do you think about Atletico? They started very positive in the preseason, very strong. They start with a win. Are they doing the right things? Did they sign the right players? Are they in a good position to again break in the top three?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't paying much attention to Atletico Madrid this summer and their signings, and I'm just checking now the details of the match. And yeah, I gotta say they did quite well. Yeah, Alvaro Morata went back, scored a goal. It seems like, I don't know, for 5 minutes a massacre happened, like 2 red cards. And then Morata missed the penalty as well. I think you can consider that a good start since they got the 3 points, and we'll see from now and there what will happen. Yeah, I have faith in Atletico Madrid. It's a good team.
Yeah, it's not an Atletico game without red cards, without a fight going on. You see Royal Rumble, and it's straight out of WWE every time they play. Volkan, what do you think about Atletico? I know you have a close eye on them. So,
Well, as I predicted, I predict a small victory for Atletico Madrid, and I actually knew that Morata would fit straight in. He's the type of player to, if you start criticizing him, it will affect his performance on pitch, even if it's the media. In teams like we saw him in Juventus, he was not criticized that often because he was actually performing very well. But in Real Madrid, I believe personally he was playing very good, but unfortunately he could not get in the starting lineup. I do not believe he was matching well with Ronaldo because his type of play. And in Chelsea, he was criticized there often. We all know English media. I believe he fits straight in Atletico. There's not much media attention on them. Only if something controversial happens, like when Arda Turan tried to throw his boot at the referee. But it's not a team that people from the outside are like, oh wow, it's Atletico. And when you think about Madrid, the first team that comes in your mind is Real Madrid. That's the biggest team in Madrid right now. So there's less attention on Atletico. Therefore, Morata can play his game, and that's what he's doing right now.
And yes, Atletico versus Getafe turn to Royal Rumble game some point. What do you think? They are to a good start. Do they have potential this year to win the league? Do you think?
Well, potential to win the league. Atletico is like Arsenal or Tottenham in Premier League. They can show the best football, but at the end it will be either Barca or Real Madrid winning it. They won't win anything this year. But I think adding Morata and letting Griezmann go was a very good decision because Griezmann wanted to go since long. He wanted to come to United. Then the deal went off because he got the transfer ban. Then he finally went to Barcelona, and Morata came. And I think Morata is going to show what he's really capable of. But like Volkan said, he's someone that can be influenced very easily. If the media start criticizing him, the fans don't support him, his performance is going to drop massively. That's the issue with him. But I think But I think Atletico did very well getting those 3 points in that Royal Rumble match.
I wait for Diego Costa to come back and he show you. Alright, let's move to Bundesliga. So another game that was going on while we were on our podcast was Bayern versus Hertha. This game had a 2-2 as it was at the point we stopped the podcast. Actually, me and Volkan predicted a late goal for Bayern. Aaron maybe as well. Was it Aaron or Volkan?
There was
Volkan?
Aaron.
It was
Yes.
Aaron. Predicted like a Lewandowski goal near the end. Never happened. This game Bayern is not the same as the old good Bayern, Ribéry Robben, as we knew it. Do they come back this year? They have many youngsters, of course. Are they gonna live up to the previous recent history? Are they gonna live up to that?
Well, I don't think they're going to live up with that manager they have. The guy's going to get sacked mid-season or at the end of the season, and Bayern is going to have a very bad season in Champions League and La Liga. They don't really have a competition. It's like the former league that is League One. So most of it will be Dortmund and Bayern fighting for it. But that, like Barcelona, the main issue is the manager. Even if you will bring the best players in there, they won't perform. They need a big name. I think Mourinho should go to Bayern right now. That would be a very good choice for them. And for the match, I actually predicted it will end in a draw because I don't see anyone scoring.
My belief on the go that far and predict the future of the end of the season. Dortmund wins it. Like, I don't think Bayern can do anything. They spend money, they bought players, they brought Coutinho in as a loan. But Coutinho is not a game changer, let's face it. He's not going to change the whole thing, except if he's that good and I'm missing something. Tony, what do you think about Bayern? Very shaky, looking very bad this season. Very bad start. Lost the Super Cup to Dortmund as well. Now they draw.
Yeah,
Where do they
not
head
a
from
good
here?
start. Not a good start for Bayern. I mean, Bayern is a huge team that everyone expects to do well. And yeah, as you mentioned, Coutinho might not change anything, but who knows? I mean, when he was in Liverpool, he was good. He went to Barcelona, he was overshadowed by Messi, Suarez, and the others there, and maybe he can change in Bayern. Nobody knows. You mentioned Ribéry and Robben before. I've read a couple hours ago some rumors that Ribéry might be going to Fiorentina. I don't know if that's true, but we'll find out in the coming days probably. And Bayern's team is reinforced with many youngsters. Yeah, as you can see from the starting 11, I mean, many new names and some old ones as well. But I think a more experienced manager there might make a difference, as you suggested. Yeah, Mourinho might make a difference, but I don't know if it's in his plans to manage at the moment. So yeah, we'll see what happens for Bayern this year. I believe that Dortmund will do better. Dortmund will be the star of Germany this year.
Yeah, not the big names in Dortmund as Bayern has. Bayern has Gnabry, has Sule, they have Goretzka, Coman, the youngsters. I don't see it going their way this season. What do you think, Volkan? Is it going Dortmund's way this season? Bayern getting plummeted, second, third position? What's happening here?
I believe it's too early to judge right now because last season it was also a kind of similar situation. Dortmund was in front by many points, and everyone actually believed that Dortmund was going to take it, but Bayern managed to turn it around. I believe Yash was correct on the matter with the coach. I don't believe that Kovac is the guy to lead Bayern into success. The team performs too unstable. It's like they're in a period with very good play, and then there's 2 or 3 games where they can't play up to their highest level. We also saw it against Ajax last season, where Bayern was actually struggling a lot, despite the budget they have and the stars they have on their team. They should be able, especially the home game, they should be able to clinch it very easy. It just shows they couldn't play against any good teams in Europe last season. I also believe it's going to be like this season, but I do believe they will win the league still because there's not many top European teams in Bundesliga, despite Bayern and Dortmund and a few other teams, but they are not on the same level. But my money would still be on Bayern.
All right. The other game of Bundesliga is Dortmund. I predicted to win. Like I think it was 2-0, something like that. 5-1, straight out of not out of nowhere. They of course they beat Bayern 2-0 a couple of weeks ago, a week ago. 5-1 looks very bad for Augsburg. Of course, that doesn't mean anything. Augsburg was never a contender to win the league or anything close to that. What do you think, guys? I don't know, 5-1. It's crazy squad. I didn't watch the game. I'm not so familiar with the players of Augsburg. I know Dortmund has. It's not a crazy squad. There's not the stars. It reminds me of kind of an Atletico when it was building up to what it is today. It reminds me of that. Might be far away from it. Might be a mini team of that, talent-wise. What do you think about this one, Tony?
Well, Dortmund absolutely thrashed Augsburg. I mean, 5-1. I expect Dortmund to do well this year, but this was a great start for them. You see, they conceded first, but after 2 minutes they managed to equalize, and then they started scoring, and they scored like 3 goals in 8 minutes. It's nice to see Marco Reus playing and also scoring. Jadon Sancho is amazing once again. Everyone was talking about him in the summer, that he was going to move to Man United, but he stayed and he's doing well. And Julian Brandt, if I'm not mistaken, is he a new player? Did they sign him this summer?
Yes.
Yes. He scored the last goal. In general, yeah, Dortmund's performance was amazing, and if they keep this up, they're gonna win something this year, and I hope so because they deserve it.
Yeah, they seem to be a very good, on an overall very good level as a team. Have the chemistry. Volkan, is Dortmund up to big things? I know we already talked about it, but 5-1 is a very good start. I mean, what was the game like? Did you have any glimpse of it?
Well, I was expecting a more tight game because I've actually been following Augsburg for some time. Like, I don't know, don't ask me why, but I watched a lot of their games, especially when they play against big teams like Frankfurt, Hoffenheim, and Bayern. So I was actually expecting like maybe a 2-1 victory to Dortmund, but seeing how they play also against Bayern in the Super Cup, they actually have surprised me a lot this season. They have boasted their squad overall very good. They have an old player back, Hummels, and their attack is. Dortmund is just a team that gets the best out of their players. You could also see Paco Alcácer played in Barcelona. He was not near the level he is right now. So yeah, and Sancho is just a phenomenal signing. Royce, as always, when he's on the pitch doing his magic. And the bench, like if you look at their bench, they have Julian Brandt as they just bought. They also have Delaney they bought him from Copenhagen. I was following him a lot. Could be a very good captain or a vice captain. And then there's Götze on the bench. So it is actually all a very good squad. Each player on the bench, I believe they could replace anyone in the first 11. Maybe apart from striker position. But yeah, that's what I had to say.
And Yash, prediction-wise on this game, were you close?
Well, I don't remember my prediction, but it doesn't surprise me the thrashing that they gave to Augsburg. But I think Dortmund will be the new Liverpool this season. Hummels will have the same effect Van Dijk and Maguire is having to their respective team to join. they have that passion. They're dying for the shirt, and they're going to give everything for that fan. Like when you play in that stadium, the fans, the atmosphere, you just cannot give a good show to them. Even when Dortmund lose, they don't lose like getting a thrashing. When they lose, the fans are still applauding because they gave everything, and I think they will do very well this season.
Yeah, Dortmund is looking out to great things. And last one, League One, Rennes versus PSG. I don't believe like anyone saw it going that way. However, you guys informed me Rennes actually beat PSG last season as well. So I can't take this as something bad for PSG that they lost now as well. Because if they lost last season and they lose now, they still have the other games to prove themselves right, that they're actually the big team in France, they are the big boss. Of course, Neymar is not playing. The guy is rumors flying all over the place. Barcelona, Real, Juventus. The rumors are flying all over the place. Like it's crazy, it's madness. But still, you have Cavani. Cavani actually scored the one goal for PSG. You have Mbappe, you have Draxler, Verratti. You have the names to pull victory against Rennes. I guess I would believe so. Can you guys inform me about Rennes? Who scored? I'm not really familiar, unfortunately. Should
No,
have been, but I'm not really.
it was Niang and Di Castillo.
Yeah, crazy. Volkan, what do you think? PSG starting on the left foot instead of the right?
Well, to me, I remember predicting they would win 3-1. That was I also knew that Neymar would not play, but it kind of shows that when he's not on the pitch, they did not have a good second half of the season last season. Like the last few months that were not very good. You could see Tuchel, he was also very unhappy with the width of the squad. So losing Neymar will just be a big blow to them, especially chemistry wise. Also, like seeing that game, it was like they put everything in the hands of Mbappe. Don't get me wrong, I believe he's a world star. He's probably one of the best strikers right now, despite his age. But I don't believe he's ready to take on the mantle right now. I think you should wait a couple of years before putting everything on him. He can be very good in a good team, but he also needs these players around him who knows him very good. And the Cavani is just getting old. Like I see his performance dropping every season. So I believe they will get a replacement, and they should. Perhaps Dybala from Juventus. I think he would be a good replacement for Neymar. Yes.
Yeah, I guess Dybala looking shaky. Not shaky. He's not looking bad, and Juventus is just he might not just fit there anymore. Yeah. Yes, a big team, PSG, the big daddy of the French league. What went wrong with this one?
Well, I think it's PSG are used to that. They go to the small teams, they don't take the game seriously, then they just get slapped, then they just destroy the next team that's going to come. Like there's no competition in that league. If you look at Marseille, Andres Villas-Boas came, the guy is not able to manage the team. That team doesn't have fans. Lyon Monaco is the only team that can give them trouble. But even if PSG lose 2-3 games to teams like Rennes, they're still going to win the league.
Yeah, I don't think anyone believes and has a different opinion. I mean, even if they fail till January, they go on and buy people all over the place. They buy very good players and come back strong. Tony, PSG, the multi-millionaires, bought Neymar, record-breaking transfer. What's going wrong with them? Of course, Neymar is not playing. He's having a short carnival right now. What do you think?
There's a reason they call League One Farmers League. I mean, PSG is just gonna win. Everyone knows it. Yet still, as you all guys mentioned, they underestimate their opponents sometimes, and they might lose 1 or 2 games. There is slight competition, like Monaco, Lyon, and Marseille, the other big teams of France, but no one can steal a trophy from PSG. I mean, they will win, and if they have problems, they'll just buy players and keep on going. If you see the squad, I mean, lots of big names. The money's there. They can get everyone there. I don't really bother with Farmers League because there's no point in watching the game. It's just pointless for me, to be honest.
A bit harsh.
It's the truth. It's my opinion, but generally it's the truth here. You all know it.
Alright guys, is there anything else you want to add in general for this podcast? Do you think anything particular for some team, Volkan? Tony?
Oh, I think we've covered everything.
Yash, anything to add?
Well, the only thing I would talk to is about PSG not having a leader. Even with Ibrahim, like they need one guy on the pitch who can shout and tell those players to wake up. They don't have that leader. Thiago Silva for me is not a true captain. The guy cannot motivate his team when they're needed. If you look at the loss they had against United, it should have never happened having Buffon, Thiago Silva on the pitch, and those small mistakes costing them the game. For me, they need a big leader, and the manager also is quite questionable. Is Tuchel the right man to be there? Because they can provide any player. Like they bought Nemo for 250 million. The money is not the issue there, neither the player. It's just like because they're a team that it's not like United and Liverpool that have a history behind them. They're a team that rise because of money, and you could see that those players are just playing for money. They don't have that passion for the shirt. That's why having lost like against United doesn't disappoint them at all. They can move on easily. I think PSG has to do. Like even how do you say that? The owner Kelafi, he actually won those guys. If this time they start pulling any BS again, he's actually going to sell the team. He cannot handle that BS you're pulling with him. He got fed up of that. I think they need a true leader off the pitch and on the pitch.
Yeah, PSG is crazy. So much money, you can't build a team still. Crazy. Champions League, nowhere to be seen. Anyway, guys, special thanks to Tony, Yash, and Volkan for joining me once again. We can't wait to see you next time as well. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, share it with friends, and subscribe to the channel, of course. I'm sorry for the darkened camera. It's getting late here. And see you later.
Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you. Come along.